welcome to my twice a year tag. There are 7 questions. This functions as a goals and reading check-in for the year. I do it in April and August, so if you would like to do this video as well, please tag me if you do, but without further ado, let's get into my 7 questions. Question 1 is, how many books do you think you're going to read this year? Initially, I said I would be reading 80, but then I went on holiday, and after my holiday, I've fallen behind. So I am now 5 or 6 books behind, so I don't know, I don't think I'm going to get to 80 anymore. I would still like to, but I honestly doubt that I'll be able to, given that in the back half of the year, I want to reread and read new releases too that are quite long, like 500, 600, 700 pages, 1,000 pages. So I don't think I'm going to get through as many books as I want to, but in terms of page count, I might succeed, so who knows there, unless I find a very short manga series of 6 books long that I absolutely love. I don't think that's gonna happen, so I might just have to say goodbye to my goal of 80. I did read 90 last year. I read about 5 or 6 books a month, so I don't think that's doable, unfortunately. Question 2 is, have you made a specific reading goal or target that you need to check in with and keep track of? And 100% I have. I made a video of books that I needed to read before the end of July, and I am happy to report that I have finished my physical TBR pile. I did a whole video about it and, tips and tricks and stuff about finishing my to be read pile and getting it down to 0. I am so impressed and pleased with myself. In that video, I mentioned 11 books that I wanted to finish. I have read and DNF'd some of those 11 books, and then a bunch of other books were library holds. So some of them have come in and I've obviously read them, others I haven't. Like I've read Binti, for example, and Atomic Habits, but I haven't read The Body Keeps the Score or Divine Rivals. I don't know if I'm gonna like either of those, hence the library hold. So I am just quite pleased with the fact that I have been reading and I don't have any control over the Libby or library holds, so I'm not really holding myself accountable to finishing all of those. I just mention them as an aside, like in between my priority books that I want to finish, these will probably come up too, and I will likely finish them. So in terms of reading my to be read pile, I'm pretty well on track. I also had a few ebooks though. I think The Will of the Many was the only one that I've got left, but I'm filming this towards the end of July and I anticipate that I will start that book during July anyway. So if I don't quite finish it before the end of July, I'll finish it in August. So, I'm quite on track to finish everything that I talked about in that video, which I'm very proud of myself about. Additionally, another goal that I would like to check in and keep track of is reading every day, because I find it really difficult to sit down and read every day. I just get easily distracted, and I don't count audiobooks in reading every day, even though they do take up a chunk of my time because I put them on while I'm doing other stuff or I'm commuting to and from work. So I technically probably do read every day because of audiobooks, but that goal is more specific to my e-reader or a physical book. But I read The Way of Kings recently, and this is only part 1 of the 1,000-page book. So I read that on my Kindle. So I feel like I have been making time to sit down and read, but I haven't been doing it as often as I would like. It's not a habit I've developed. I don't sit in bed for 30 minutes before I go to sleep and do a bit of reading. I kind of just put it into my day wherever I can squeeze it in. So I feel like because it's a chaotic habit that I haven't quite developed yet, it hasn't settled, I'm not doing it as much as I thought and want to. So that is one that I'll work on, but it's one that is underway. I wouldn't have finished this if it wasn't succeeding in some way. So I just need to make more of a habit of doing it instead of just on weekends, during the week as well. So I'll try and remedy that and make it more frequent during the latter half of the year. Question 3 is, how many 5-star books have you read throughout the year so far? And I have read 8 5-star books, but pretty much all of them were rereads. I'm not finding any new absolute favorites. The only new 5-star book that I've read this year is Heart Song, which came out in February, and this is a continuation of a series that I love. So I, of course, anticipated this would rate quite highly. So I haven't found any new 5-star books, which is so disappointing because when you read, you want to enjoy stuff. I have given out 4 and 3-star ratings, so this year is not at a complete and utter loss, but out of the almost 40 books I've read this year, to have only read 8 5-star books, and most of those being books I've already read before, it's just kind of sad. Question 4 is, what is a popular book that you own that you haven't read yet? So I've obviously finished my physical to be read pile and I need to go out and buy some more books, but I do have some books on my Kindle that I haven't reached for yet. One of them is The Honey Witch, and that is a sapphic cozy fantasy book. And then I've also got Tempest of Tea, and that is, I think, a cozy mystery vampire book. And I haven't read either of those because I've been worried about the ratings after seeing a few reviews. I thought I would love them, and now I think I'm only going to maybe like them. I hope I don't DNF either of them. So I've kind of put them off a little bit. But it is colder weather in Australia right now. It's winter, so perhaps I will pick up some cozier and almost vampire books in the coming month or two. We'll see what happens. But then question 5 is, do you want to reread anything this year? Yes, I do. I want to reread Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson because I just finished rereading the first book in his Stormlight series. But then I also want to reread Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. These are huge. So this is probably going to take me a lot of time. To be fair, I've reread up to Oathbringer before, and my last reread of Oathbringer took me like 6 days. So, you know, I can do it. I'm committed to these characters and to this story, but I've never reread this before. So this will be very interesting because I honestly don't remember very much about it, even though it didn't come out very long ago. And then obviously book 5's coming out soon. So that's why I'm doing my reread. These aren't the only ones that I want to reread though. So am I crazy? Yes. But also I want to reread Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame because Onyx Storm is coming out in January, so I need to do a reread of the first 2 so that I'm refreshed enough to read the 3rd book. And I never used to make time to reread books before the next one released, but I feel like a whole new person now that I've got this massive TBR that's not hanging over my head anymore. It's really nice to have that flexibility and freedom, although I do miss having a bunch of books that I can, you know, just pick and choose from that are there on my to-be-read cart because, you know, it's quite empty right now in terms of new books to me. All of those I've read before. So I also would like to reread the rest of the Samantha Shannon books because I think the 5th one is coming out in January. I'd like to reread, no, the 4th one, perhaps. I'd like to reread The Mime Order and The Mask Falling before the next one in this series comes out, but the Bone Season took me a while. That might have been because I did my Bone Season recap of everything you need to know before you dive into The Mime Order. So maybe it took me a bit longer because I was taking a lot of notes along the way, but who knows? I would like to give these a try anyway. I don't own them yet, so I would have to go out and purchase them. And then of course, you've heard me bang on about this book, and if I actually get my life together, I will continue my reread of Robin Hobb. I don't know if that's going to happen, given that I've got all of Stormlight to reread, but you know, it's in the back of my brain. Now we've only got 2 more questions left for the entire video. So question 6 is, what is a anticipated release for the second half of the year that you're looking forward to? And I've talked about all of these in various videos before. So we've got Brother Song, which is the sequel and conclusion to the Green Creek series, and Heartsong is my only new 5-star read this year, so I'm anticipating that Brother Song is going to destroy me in the best way. I'm really looking forward to it. It comes out at the end of July, so I'll probably be reading it early August. Then we've also got an August release called The Pairing by Casey McQuiston, and I'm so highly anticipating their next book because it's going to just be a rom-com romp between these 2 guys that end up being rivals and falling for each other. I'm so excited about it. After that, we've got The Phoenix Keeper, which I've pre-ordered on audiobook, and that is a female sapphic romance about magical creatures, a magical zoo, and also a rivalry. Can you get a theme here? I do like rivals to lovers. And then after that, we've got Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake, and she wrote Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I enjoyed that trilogy of rom-coms, so I'm looking forward to trying this one out. I'm a bit, you know, I've got a bit of trepidation about this one. I don't know if I'm going to like the whole being left at the altar trope. Depending on how it's done, I'll either hate it or I'll be like, okay, this is workable. I'll get on that. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I have pre-ordered the audiobook. So, you know, it's going to happen. It comes out at the end of October, I think, which is seemingly a little bit early to me given that it's a Christmas themed book, but you know, whatever. And then of course we've got Wrath of the Triple Goddess, which is the next Percy Jackson book in Rick Riordan's new series, and I'm really liking this whole Percy Jackson goes to college thing. It's so good. And then of course we've got Knights of Wind and Truth, which is the 5th Stormlight book, and this completes the first arc of Stormlight. It's going to be 2 arcs of 5 books each, so I feel like this is going to be an epic conclusion to all of the characters we know and love, and I am very nervous about it because a bunch of Sanderson's Kickstarter books came out and he wrote all of those during COVID and they were like secret projects. And so he made a whole Kickstarter, everyone backed it, and I've done a review of each of those books and I didn't like them very much, and so that made me regret buying them. And he's supposed to be my favorite author, so he's not a favorite author anymore, but he's got favorite series So Stormlight is a favorite series, Mistborn is a favorite series for me. So I'm really hoping that he's spent the time that he needs to on Stormlight and it hasn't shifted too far from what the fans are expecting. So yeah, I'm really nervous about it, but I'm hoping again that he's spent the time on it, and it seems like he has. So hopefully December is not a letdown. And then finally, question 7, which is, what is a book that you're picking up next, and do you think it will be 4 stars or above? And at some point soon, I'm going to be reading The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and it could really be a mixed bag. I hope it's 4 stars or over, but I've had, like I said, a mix. So City of Stairs, I gave 5 stars. City of Blades, which is its direct sequel, I DNF'd. And then Foundry Side, I gave 3 stars. So looking at all of those and how different I've responded to each of his works, I'm really nervous about The Tainted Cup. But given that it's about a murder mystery where a mushroom or a tree bursts out of a guy's chest and that's how he dies, and then these 2 characters come to investigate and one has a photographic memory and he's like the sidekick, I'm looking forward to the dynamic. It sounds really interesting. So yeah, I'm just hopeful that The Tainted Cup is good, like you would hope with any book that you're about to pick up. So I'm going to try and be optimistic, but that is my twice a year tag. Thank you so much for watching this video. Come down below and let me know what you're hoping is a new 5-star book for you. I would love to know and I need recommendations, but thank you again for watching this video. I'll come chat to you in the comments and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.